You may remember a moment, perhaps from childhood, when you sensed that the world did not quite understand you. Maybe it was a birthday party where laughter swirled around you, yet you felt on the outside, quietly watching. Perhaps it was a classroom, a family gathering, or a playground where others moved and spoke easily, while you felt a subtle dissonance, a quiet separation. You didn't yet have the words, but you felt it, a soft, persistent sense of difference. It is not dramatic, it is not sudden. It is woven into the small, almost imperceptible moments, a glance that lingers too long or too briefly, a question that goes unanswered, a gesture overlooked. You notice it first in your body, a light tightening of the chest, the gentle curling of shoulders, a subtle holding of breath. There is a rhythm to it, one your body learned before your mind could name it. Perhaps you grew aware of the ways your feelings were out of step with the expectations around you. Joy might have been muted, sorrow sharper, curiosity intense. You may have learned quietly that expressing these feelings could be met with confusion, impatience, or dismissal. So you adapted. You softened the edges of your inner world, carefully shaping what others could perceive, while keeping the rest tucked safely inside. And in that adaptation, you also noticed the subtle ache. Not a loud or urgent pain, but a quiet echo of difference that followed you into every room, every conversation, every social rhythm. You may have tried to match, to blend, to find the rhythm of the world, only to feel that a part of you must always bend or be restrained. This ache is familiar. It is coherent. It is human. The sensation of being different is not always expressed outwardly. Sometimes it moves quietly through thought. You may find yourself analyzing interactions, replaying words, gestures, expressions, noticing subtleties that others overlook. This depth of observation can feel like a burden, even though it is also a source of insight. You see the currents beneath the surface, the unspoken tensions, the small shifts that go unnoticed. And in seeing, you carry a weight, though it is a subtle, internal one. You may notice that this wound, the sense of being different, shapes the way you relate to others. Perhaps you are empathetic, intuitive, perceptive. Perhaps you notice when someone's tone shifts or when a glance holds more meaning than words. You carry these abilities naturally, yet they are tethered to a quiet vigilance, an awareness that others may not follow the same rhythm, that your experience of the world may always be slightly offset. Sometimes this difference expresses as self-protection. You may retreat from situations that feel overwhelming, even subtly, before your mind fully registers it. You may anticipate disapproval or misunderstanding and choose restraint over expression. These are not failures, nor signs of deficiency. They are coherent responses, learned long ago, that allowed you to navigate spaces that were not fully prepared to hold your depth. There is a certain fatigue in this adaptation. Living attuned to nuance, sensitive to unspoken signals, often requires more energy than what seems visible to others. You may notice exhaustion after social gatherings, even when you appeared fully engaged. You may sense that your mind works harder, your attention stretches further, your body tenses subtly to maintain presence and coherence. This fatigue is understandable. It is natural. It is part of inhabiting a world that often moves without consideration for subtlety. Awareness can transform this fatigue into understanding. Carl Jung observed that experiences of difference are not failures. They are echoes of early adaptations, traces of responses that once provided survival, coherence, and attunement. By noticing patterns of thought, bodily sensation, and emotional rhythm, you begin to see them as reflections of your own perceptual depth, not evidence of deficiency. Recognition itself offers grounding. You may notice a small release of tension, a softening of breath, a gentle acknowledgement of the ways your body and mind have adapted. You are neither fragile nor deficient. You are attuned, responsive, and coherent. Observing this quietly allows clarity. Your difference is part of your structure, shaping insight, empathy, and perception. And there is subtle liberation in this recognition. You may allow yourself to inhabit moments without anticipating misunderstanding, to engage without preemptively holding back, to feel without immediate evaluation. Awareness does not erase difference, but it provides space to inhabit it consciously, with care and patience. Reflection offers perspective. Recognition provides reassurance. You may notice how difference has shaped relationships. Perhaps it draws you to depth, to intimacy, to moments where subtlety is acknowledged. Perhaps it cultivates discernment, insight, and the ability to read between lines. These qualities, born from early awareness of being different, are strengths. They are coherent with your perceptual rhythm. They are not burdens but capacities once necessary, now deeply integral to your experience. Yet there is also gentle permission to soften. You may observe the ways in which vigilance and self-protection shaped patterns of engagement, and choose, moment by moment, to inhabit spaces with less tension, to allow presence without constant adaptation. Not as a demand, not as a performance, but as an intentional acknowledgement of your own depth and coherence. Awareness allows choice. Reflection allows patience. Recognition allows subtle ease. Sometimes clarity comes in the quietest moments. A soft pause, a solitary breath, a gentle acknowledgement of your inner rhythm. You may notice the way your mind can move freely when not constantly adjusting to external expectations. You may notice that your body softens, your thoughts settle, and your awareness is allowed space to exist without judgment or urgency. Here, difference is not a burden, it is presence, attunement, and coherence. Reflection also offers insight into the interplay of sensitivity and adaptation. You may observe the subtle ways early experience shaped your relational patterns, your attentiveness, your vigilance. Perhaps you recognize the moments of retreat, the habits of careful observation, the quiet processing of cues that others overlook. These patterns are neither flaws nor failures. They are coherent, human, and adaptive reflections of a mind attuned to nuance. You may begin to notice the small moments where difference becomes an advantage. Insight, empathy, awareness, and discernment all arise from subtle attunement to cues that are invisible to many. You may see how your perceptual depth allows connection, observation, and creativity. You may recognize that difference, once a source of quiet ache, now offers clarity, perspective, and nuanced presence. And there is self-compassion here. You may allow the mind to notice its own depth without judgment, the body to release tension without force, the awareness to simply observe. Difference does not define your value. It defines your rhythm, your perceptual architecture, and your attunement. Awareness provides understanding. Reflection provides grounding. Recognition provides reassurance. Finally, there is gentle hope. You may notice that being different is coherent, natural, and valuable. Your sensitivity, insight, and attentiveness are capacities that allow you to navigate life with depth and perception. Awareness gives clarity. Reflection gives patience. Recognition gives soft comfort. And in inhabiting your difference consciously, you discover a quiet, steady alignment. You are attuned, coherent, and safe, and that understanding is enough.